Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for June 23rd, 2014. We start another week, and quite frankly, it's rather pleasant out there this morning with high pressure in full control. Temperatures this morning range from the lower to mid 50s over the northern interior, upper 50s to lower 60s over the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, a few mid 60s over southeastern Pennsylvania. Overall, very pleasant out there with low humidity, dew points in the upper 40s to lower 50s. Very comfortable out there indeed. And notice with the high pressure right over the region, winds are pretty much light and variable to calm throughout much of the area. Do have an easterly wind over portions of Philadelphia around 5 miles per hour. On the latest surface map, you can see high pressure in full control sitting right over Long Island and another one right over New England. The stronger high pressure system is going to be over New England, and it's going to shift towards the Gulf of Maine, and that's going to lead to winds coming from the south around 5 miles per hour by this evening, and that will continue on through tomorrow. For the most part, we're under the influence of what's called a polar modified marine air mass. Basically, you have an air mass from southeastern Canada and from the northwestern Atlantic, all funneling into the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, and also forcing all that hot and humid weather down over the southeast and over the Mississippi River Valley and keeping it there throughout this entire week. Now, earlier on in the forecast, let's say right about Saturday, there was this idea, which I did not support, of temperatures pushing near 90 degrees by the middle of this week. We're going to be nowhere near that as we move in towards this week and into this upcoming weekend, with temperatures generally staying in the 80s for the most part through the forecast period. On the radar, really not much going on. This is just ground clutter, not really anything to concern yourself with. The closest shower is all the way back into Michigan, and that's not reaching us anytime soon. Now, with a few rogue disturbances, you could see an isolated shower this afternoon, especially over to southeastern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey. But I stress the word isolated here. Most locations will remain dry, comfortable, with no threat for rainfall at all. But it's important to mention that rogue isolated shower is a possibility this afternoon. On the latest infrared satellite picture, you can see that high pressure system in control and remaining in control. This warm front and this stationary front will be a threat for the region by Wednesday with scattered showers. But overall, no threat for severe weather as we head into this week. What you would need is for this warm front to move to the north and east of the region, putting us in a far more humid and unstable air mass, therefore supporting the threat for strong to severe thunderstorms. Right now, what I'm looking at here is a pattern that supports more of a scattered shower threat with your severe weather focused more over the southern mid-Atlantic, southeast, and the Mississippi River Valley, and unfortunately the southern plains, with some rather impressive thunderstorms over Oklahoma. On the water vapor satellite picture, I have the winds overlaid here at the upper levels, and you can see them basically from the northwest, and what's basically is happening is that the winds are what's called converging. And what that means aloft is that when the winds converge aloft, that means mass is building, and that mass has to sink towards the ground. So you end up with sinking dry air, which is what we have right here. That's what the black and red stands for, dry air. So that sinking dry air pretty much prevents any type of disturbance from really taking hold and producing any significant weather, and thus the clear skies and very comfortable weather conditions. Let's take a look at the latest model guidance using the Penn State EWOL website, and we're going to use the European model guidance for today. And again, for this afternoon, basically tranquil weather is in place, high pressure in control. We do have some moisture in the atmosphere here at about 700 and 850 millibars, and so as a result, there is that threat for a very isolated shower. Temperatures today will range from the lower to mid 80s throughout much of the region, upper 70s to lower 80s over Long Island. Same scenario for tomorrow, an isolated shower is a threat, otherwise tranquil weather conditions. Temperatures will range from the upper 50s to lower 60s for lows, lower to mid 80s for highs. On Wednesday, that warm front will attempt to move through the region. It will stall out because of the influence of our marine air mass in place. There's going to be a better threat for scattered showers throughout the region. Temperatures will be a little bit warmer, especially in the morning, in the mid-60s throughout much of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area with a little more humidity in the atmosphere. High temperatures in the lower to mid-80s. On Thursday, same scenario again. That warm front just kind of stalled out here. Basically, right around the Delmarva Peninsula, right over Delaware, back through Pennsylvania. And you got this little wave of low pressure kind of meandering around the Delmarva Peninsula and around the coast of Virginia. So there'll be a threat for showers here and there. Again, not a washout, more of a nuisance. Temperatures on Thursday will range from the mid-60s, possibly a few upper 60s in urban locations for lows, and high temperatures again remaining in the lower to mid-80s. Again, nowhere near the hot and humid weather conditions I would have forecasted back on Saturday. And the reason why is that hot and humid air mass is basically blunted and suppressed over Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, the rest of the Southeast, the Mississippi River Valley, and the Southern Plains. And you can see that very nicely in the heights here, basically where that's focused. Now, for Friday, it gets a little bit more interesting. We get a little bit stronger disturbance diving through the Great Lakes. There's an isolated threat for a strong to severe thunderstorm here. I think for the most part, we'll see most of our action in the morning, and then in the afternoon we clear out. Look for temperatures in the mid-60s for lows, lower to mid-80s for highs. And then this upcoming weekend, well, we get a stronger trough developing off of the East Coast. Now, this upper level low will eventually couple with this trough here. And so we end up with a strong trough over the northwestern Atlantic, which leads to strong high pressure developing right around the St. Lawrence River Valley, keeping a marine air mass in place. So look for the threat for scattered showers on Saturday morning, and then the rest of the weekend will be overall quiet. Now, this is going to be a very interesting setup because at the mid-levels, very dry air is in place, but at the lower levels, you have an increase of moisture. So I'm expecting scattered to broken cloud cover this upcoming weekend with an isolated threat for a shower on Saturday and Sunday. Pretty much coming off the Atlantic, not a washout again, but a little bit unsettled. Temperatures in the lower to mid 60s for lows. High temperatures right along the coast, mid to upper 70s. A little bit away from the coast, let's say over western New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania, upper 70s to lower 80s. It's going to be much cooler for next weekend, and let me tell you something, well below normal. So that is your forecast discussion for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. You can follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and LinkedIn. Have a wonderful day, and as always, stay safe out there.